If you're being smart with me, young lady, you're going to be punished.
Punished for being smart?
For being a smart aleck.
We've all been there, when our children relentlessly test our patience to see how far they can push the boundaries. How do you handle it? How do you respond?
Well, today you'll discover different types of parenting styles by expert Dr. Diana Baumrind. Plus, listen to what children have to say about discipline. And later, learn what God, the author of parenting, has to say about your job description.
I'm Louis Harrell.
And I'm Emmerich Harrell. Welcome to Faith and Family.
We have three very active, free-spirited boys, so we aren't strangers to chaos and endless negotiations and even moments of dishonesty. But sometimes I wonder if their actions are a reflection of the way we discipline them.
So how's a parent supposed to navigate through parenthood? Like most parents, we're always wondering what's the most effective way to teach our children. How can I practice Christian discipline? What kind of parent does God want me to be? What can I do better? I took some time to ask the experts. Watch this. Hello. Today I've invited an expert panel to help us understand some things about parenting. So here with me today is Kyle and Kendall, David, and Mia. Okay, guys, I have a very important question I need to ask you. Can you guys help me with this?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
What does it take to be a good parent?
Don't be mean to your kids when they didn't do anything bad.
Oh. What would you do if your kids broke the rules?
Give them a B.
A what?
Give them a B.
What's that?
A B says B.
Why would you give them a B?
Because we're mad at them.
Oh. All right. Let's see what other people have to say about this topic.
The best time to be scolded is when my dog did it.
A good time for my parents to scold me is when I make a mess.
The best time to be scolded is when I spill milk everywhere. The best time to be scolded is never, ever.
Do you think it's good for your parents to scold you?
No.
I want my parents to make me happy is for my dad to help me in my game Dragon Rail. I want my parents to get me ice cream or just take me to the mall or outlet. I want my mom to give me milk on the glass.
Okay, so maybe they aren't the best source of information on effective parenting.
No, they're not. And while we're not specialists on all things parenting, wait, hold on, come back. There is hope. Effective parenting is a topic that has been visited and revisited by so many child development experts, and we have done our research.
According to Dr. Baumrind, there are 4 different types of parenting styles: the authoritarian, indulgent, uninvolved, and authoritative.
Before we explain the types of parenting, take this test to figure out which type you are. Don't worry, you don't have to study. Just be honest. If my child was reported cheating in school and received discipline for it, I would A. Not bring it up anymore. The school's discipline is enough. B. Take this matter very seriously and apply my own consequence in addition to the school's. This will help my child understand that this behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. C. Talk to my children about why cheating is wrong. Listen to his explanations and decide what type of further discipline is needed. Or D. Have my child tell me why he did it. Then I would let him create his own punishment if it's needed. Welcome back. What did your test results reveal? Are you an authoritarian parent? Are you uninvolved, indulgent, or authoritative? Before we describe each parenting style, let's define two words, demandingness and responsiveness. Louis, what does demandingness mean?
Demandingness is the demands parents make on their children to be more mature and to behave properly. What about responsiveness?
Well, responsiveness means responding to your children's personal desires, supporting their wants and needs, allowing them certain freedoms so that they can self-assert and self-regulate.
If you're an authoritarian, you're a parent that is highly demanding but not very responsive. Does this sound familiar? Maybe you experienced it, or maybe you've seen it portrayed in movies. In Finding Nemo, Marlin displays an authoritarian parenting style. Take a look.
This does not concern you, kids. And you're lucky I don't tell your parents you were out there. You know you can't swim well.
I can swim fine, Dad, okay?
No, it's not okay. You shouldn't be anywhere near here. Okay, I was right. You know what? We'll start school in a year or two.
No, Dad! Just because you're scared of the ocean...
Clearly you're not ready, and you're not coming back until you are. You think you could do these things, but you just can't, Nemo.
I hate you.
Now, even though Finding Nemo is just a cartoon, it conveys real-life experience. See how Marlin keeps demanding without reasoning with Nemo.
He even embarrasses Nemo in front of his friends.
Is your parenting method like Marlin? For those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, spoiler alert, Nemo doesn't listen to his dad. In fact, he disobeys his dad, swims out to sea, and gets lost, which is why the title of the movie is Finding Nemo.
Okay. Now, the indulgent parenting style is highly responsive but not very demanding. This parent tries to be a cool friend, just like Regina George's mom in the movie Mean Girls.
I just want you to know, if you need anything, don't be shy, okay? There are no rules in this house. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. Right, Regina? Please stop talking. Okay.
Regina George's mom definitely sees herself as one of the girls, like an equal, which means that her children probably don't respect her.
Now, the uninvolved parent is pretty self-explanatory, but watch this example anyway.
Ma! 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 Mom! 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 Mommy! Mommy! Mama!
Poor Stewie.
Poor Stewie.
All he wanted was a little attention. Uninvolved parents are neither demanding nor responsive.
The last parenting method is called authoritative parents. They are both highly demanding and highly responsive.
Authoritative parents have clear standards and monitor their children's behavior, but they're not too intrusive nor too restrictive. They direct their children's behavior in a rational way. They encourage communication and reasonableness by modeling it in their parenting. Take a look at how Danny Tanner from the show Full House reacts when DJ admits to him that she lied about her bad test score. She lied.
My science grade was an F, and Kimmy changed it to an A.
I'm just guessing she doesn't have the authority to do this.
Dad, I'm sorry, but with work and all my other classes, I didn't have time to study for my science test.
Then you should have come to me and told me what was going on. DJ, we had an understanding. You wanted to be a responsible adult, and this is the least responsible thing you could have done.
I just wanted to prove that I could earn my own money.
Well, that's all out the window now, because you're going to have to quit your job and no hanging out at the mall until you pull up that grade.
That was a good show.
Yeah, it ran for a long time too.
Yeah.
So which parenting style is the most effective? Here are the results.
Children from indulgent homes were more likely to be found in problem behavior and didn't do that well in school.
But they had higher self-esteem, better social skills, and lower levels of depression.
Now, children from authoritarian homes performed better in school and did not have problem behavior in their younger years.
But eventually they had poor social skills, lower self-esteem, and higher levels of depression.
children of uninvolved parents did worse in all measures. Now, children from authoritative homes were rated as the most socially and academically competent.
They also had lower levels of behavior problems in all developmental stages, including adolescence.
When they faced a challenge, they felt more confident that they controlled their future. These children were the most balanced. According to this research, parents have to be highly demanding and highly responsive if they want their children to become reasonable and emotionally mature adults.
Now, how should we lead our children in the eyes of God? When we come back, we'll ask a minister of the gospel to answer that question and several more.
Stay with us for more on faith and family.
Discipline comes in many forms in my household. It might be by getting a spanking, it might be by taking things away, it might be not getting to do what I plan to do on a weekend.
For instance, if they thought I was like too many video games or something like that, or hanging out with my friends too much, and I had like a bad quarter, they would like limit that. But at the same time, they would talk to me about ways to get better.
Oh, I can remember that in summer vacation, they don't like me to watch TV when I was alone at home because they think TV is harmful to me.
Well, my mom always taught me to be strong and positive and very confident. So I kind of took those and instilled them in my son.
If I do have kids, I would say discipline I would instill with them was a lot like what my mother taught me, which is you don't have to beat your children to get, results. You just have to talk to them and constantly remind them what the right thing to do is.
The main thing I learned from my parents is be a parent. Don't try to be their best friend. Don't sit there and try to do things that's going to make them look at you and say, hey, this is my best friend. That's not the job of a parent. A parent's job is to teach.
I remember thinking at one point that my mom did not love me because she never said the word or she never hugged me, but she did. And so that's one of the things I will more so do, verbally let my kids know that I love them and hug them more.
Welcome back to Faith and Family. While there are tons of programs and tools available everywhere, there's only one source that was authored by the greatest parent of all. It's God.
He gave instructions for everything we needed to know in the Bible. Here with us is Brother Rolando Dizon, a minister of the gospel. Hello, Brother Rolando.
Hello, sister. Hello, brother.
Hi, brother.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm very happy to be here.
We have 3 little boys at home, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old. Do you have any kids at home?
Oh, yes. I have a daughter who's 11 and a son who's 7. And of course, they're very fun to be with. They provide you a lot of joy. But at the same time, it requires a lot of work, a lot of hard work to maintain that proper and Christian relationship with them.
We've been talking about parenting styles today on this show, and we learned from Dr. Diana Baumrind that the most effective parenting style is the authoritative parent. That parent is highly demanding as well as highly responsive, and we were wondering if there was anything in the Bible that mentioned something like that.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if Dr. Baumrind was here right now, I would ask her, did you get that from the Bible? Because we did not have to wait for her to complete her research to be able to make the conclusion that the most effective parenting style is the authoritative one. In fact, this was revealed some 2,000 years ago by the Apostle Paul. And we can turn to that in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and the verses 4. Parents, do not treat your children in such a way as to make them angry. Instead, raise them with Christian discipline and instruction. So here we have Apostle Paul instructing us about the proper way of raising our children with proper Christian discipline and instruction. So that's your high standard. We expect that from them. The expectation is the Word of God, that they will uphold Christian values. However, after saying that, we have Apostle Paul instructing us with the statement that we must not treat our children in such a way as to make them angry. So this requires parents to be responsive.
We have 3 kids, like I said earlier, and they're so different. Although we raise them the same way, they've gone to the same schools, we get them in the same sports and activities, the same mom and dad, obviously. How can we respond to their individual needs?
You look very surprised when you said your kids are different. Of course they're different, right? People are different. Even identical twins are different when it comes to their personality, when it comes to their behavior, so very different. And so what we need to do is to understand and to know our kids. I have 2 kids, one son, one daughter. They're so very different from each other. So what works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other. This is why for a parent to be a good responder, they need to first know and understand their child and their differences, right? Their likes and dislikes, their strengths and weaknesses, and respond accordingly. And so what does the Bible teach? So that we can be good responders, so that we can know our children correctly, that we can understand them. Well, this is what the Bible teaches in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19. Remember this, my dear friends. Everyone must be quick to listen, but slow to speak and slow to become angry. Isn't that nice? You know, if we will only apply this in our life, it will really improve our relationships across the board, right? Especially with our kids. You see, with our kids, we really need to develop the skill of really and truly listening to them. The reason why? They're so different from us parents, right? You look at the age gap, the culture gap, even the language gap. They have their own lingo nowadays. So we really need to develop our skills in listening to what they're saying. And when it comes to listening, we don't just listen with our ears. We listen with our eyes too, right? We listen with our mind. We listen with our heart. We want to know the whole person. We want to know what he's going through. We want to try and imagine ourselves in their shoes. So we want to understand the whole person. In so doing, we understand them, we know them, we can respond better.
As much as I try to be slow to anger, there are just times where they provoke me. It's not my fault.
They provoke you to anger, huh?
Me to anger.
You know what? You know, it's not only your kids that do that. My kids provoke me to anger all the time. I guess it's a universal truth, right? All kids provoke their parents to anger, but we need to keep this in mind. Children are kids, right? Kids do silly things. Kids do kid things like spill the milk, right?
Or crack my iPad 2 times.
That's not good, but you know what? When they step out of the house, right, we're gonna miss all that, you know, the cracked iPad. It's kind of a good thing, right? At least you can buy a new iPad.
I guess, yeah.
But we need to keep in mind, the Bible says, be slow to anger, be slow to speak. This is why there's a difference between responding and reacting. When a parent reacts, he acts without thinking. He speaks without thinking. Usually when that happens, they say something that will be very, very damaging, and they will regret that. This is why the Bible says, be slow to speak. Give yourself some time to process what you're going to say before you say it. That way, we are able to do things and say things that will be constructive and not destructive. Because words, keep in mind, are very, very powerful. And so Apostle Paul teaches us the kind of words that we must use, especially when it comes to relating with our children. In the book of Ephesians, chapters 4 and the verses 29, this is written, do not use harmful words, but only helpful words, the kind that build up and provide what is needed, so that what you say will do good to those who hear you. Apostle Paul says, when it comes to words, it's very powerful. The words that we use, especially when we speak those words to our children, are very impactful and very powerful. It has the power either to build up or the power to destroy. Let us choose the words that we will use to build up, not to destroy. That's why Apostle Paul says, use helpful words, not harmful words. Our kids are going to be with us only for a limited time. Pretty soon they're going to be on their own, right? And so while they are still with us, let us make every opportunity to teach using words that are helpful, not damaging to them.
Thank you so much, Brother Rolando, for sharing these amazing words of wisdom and for clearing up these messages from the Bible. I think it's so fascinating that what Dr. Baumrein discovered about 50 years ago confirms what the Bible has been saying all along for over 2,000 years.
Please stay with us for more on Faith and Family. There's no doubt we all want our children to grow into amazing adults with the grace of God in their hearts, but their victories start with us.
With a little bit of practice, coupled with fervent prayer, you'll see the results of Christian parenting through their careful actions, their heartfelt words, and the honorable choices that they make.
We're the Harrells. Thanks for joining us on Faith and Family.
See you next time.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. Next time on Faith and Family, are your children conforming to the standards of today's society?
Learn how to equip your children with proper spiritual and social values that help them become a stronger individual.